Welcome to another episode of the Schnozzcast, baby. You're listening to the Schnozzcast.
So much copyright infringement.
There's no copyright at all.
So much copyright infringement.
I am your host, Nick, with my co-host here, Todd Dillon, and the Taw West Tortoise himself, Cory Schnozzcast.
Oh, hey.
And we're going to bring you the fun tonight. We promise. The second episode, it's always better than the first. Hey, if you're looking for us or this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, this is the Schnozzcast, Schnozzcast. You can find us Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play Store, iHeartRadio, or anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, all at Schnozzcast. Or if you want to get in touch with us while we're live on the show, we always do our shows on Saturday nights. If you're thinking, hey, maybe it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, I wonder what the guys are doing. Maybe we're not live that night. But we're getting together.
I have no life.
We're getting together. I have no life. I'm sitting at home. I got kids. They're driving me crazy. I've got a nagging husband or wife, and I want to listen to the Schnozzcast. I want to talk to these guys. You can dial in. Call us in real time at 618-SHOCKER or send us a text with your questions, queries, gripes, or bitches on the Shocker line.
Shocker. I got it out there first.
TD, how are you, brother?
I am mighty, sir. How are you?
So happy that I'm happier now that Mighty has returned. I feel much better now that Mighty's returned. I
feel mightier.
Long-standing, almost double decade-long friend, Cory Schnozzcast. How are you?
Oh, hello.
Oh, that was deflated. That was deflated right after I brought all the fun.
No, man, I'm good.
Hi.
Has it almost been 2 decades now?
2006.
Holy shit. That's quick approaching.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Almost deuce, buddy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
2 decades.
2 deuces.
That's right.
That's a full toilet. So
we got a good lineup for you guys tonight. We had a rough start on the first episode, mostly because there wasn't a lot of booze involved.
Rough start.
If you're listening to this and you're like, what first episode are you fucking talking about? We don't know what you're talking about. Well, go back out into TV land and take a look. We double up on episodes sometimes. But you're not going to see that on Facebook. You're not going to see that on Facebook because we're going to delete it.
No, if you're live right now, you're goddamn lucky.
Enjoy it.
Because this is going down right after we're done.
It's going away. It gets deleted immediately. And we bank that episode. We save it for a rainy day. So for this episode of the Schnozzcast, we got some things lined up for you guys. We got Nick's existential question. We've got some more airing of grievances. We have some TT's TikToks. And we have some gentlemen's agreement. Not in that order.
Hell to the end.
That was definitely the wrong order. I'm like, holy shit, he's throwing me way off of this order. But yeah, no, they will not be in that order.
Todd Dillon, how are you, brother?
For the second time,
please don't.
Mighty fantastic.
I'm just asking how you. We don't have to go with the fucking cookie cutter answer.
Exactly, I'm mighty fantastic, Nick. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
twice.
What has happened since we last talked?
Recently?
Yeah.
Well, this actually happened a little bit ago, but I have the proof that it happened, and so I'm super proud to be the owner of my first challenge coin. And so, let me share this with the world. For most of you, I spent some time working for the Federal Reserve Bank, and recently I got my gold challenge coin for delivering FedNow, baby. FedNow went live on July 20th. And for the first time in 50 years, we've delivered a brand new way of sending instant payments or payments at all in the United States. So super proud. It is done. I am done. I'm out of the Fed. Glad to be done with the bank, but happy to have delivered something that actually will make the lives of Americans much, much better. And the fact that we can move money around from any banking institution to any other banking institution in the United States in under 30 seconds. I had my handprints all over. So when that shit breaks, blame somebody else because my shit works, and I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, I'm super, super, super proud. Got a letter from Jerome Powell thanking us for what we've done. the first time I've ever been a part of any project that has really tangentially changed the way that business works in the United States. So super proud of it.
So for all of us out there that are trying to just digest all this intellectual info, so basically give us the breakdown, like the elementary school breakdown of basically what transpired. Yeah.
Sure. So anybody who's ever tried to move money from one bank to another, wire transfers and ACH, that process takes days. If you've tried to wire money, it can take up to 5 days to wire amounts for money for, let's say you're purchasing a home.
Mm-hmm.
Those banking transactions don't happen instantaneously. In fact, they take days.
And Todd, I've noticed from my own. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but I have noticed from transfers that I've done in the past, like up until very recently, that say based on your specific institution, this transaction may not be apparent in your account for 1 to 3 days. So is this specifically what you're talking about?
It is, in that's the old ACH system. And by the way, not every bank in the United States is on board with the new FedNow application yet. They all have to get certified and they have to integrate with this new technology.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, in the past, you would have to wait days for the money to really physically move from one banking institution to the next. And what we've delivered on July 20th is the ability for that settlement, that money to actually really physically move in under 30 seconds. And it's actually done. And people out there will go, oh, well, I use Venmo. I use all these other tools. Well, that money actually isn't really there. Venmo is taking a risk. That's why they limit the amount of dollars you can move from bank A or person A to person B, because they're actually still using the old system that takes days to actually settle. This system actually is really real time, which actually what it means for America is if you bank at Bank of America and Chase, you've already enjoyed the ability to move large sums of money around in a day, but you pay for it let's call it dollars. Like I think a wire transfer for $10,000 might cost you $25. FedNow delivers the ability to move that $10,000 in under 30 seconds, and even better, Venmo caps you at whatever the cap is. You could move $10 million in 30 seconds, and it's really in the other bank account.
Oh my God, dude. That's so, yeah. My first question was going to be to you, because, I can't wrap my brain around a lot of like the first part, because it was a little confusing, but you just broke it down and that makes a little bit more sense. And my first question was going to be, I send someone PayPal. I don't use Venmo, but I send someone PayPal and they get it instantly, $500. So you're saying,
but they really don't.
Okay.
It was all afloat. Literally, the money didn't move from your bank to my bank in that time. PayPal assumes the risk, and for $500, that's not a big deal. And if 5,000 people do that, that's not a big deal. $500, we can do that. They can claw the money back. But again, you could never transfer if you're going to buy a house and you need to send $100,000 to the bank of the person you're buying the house from. You could never do that via PayPal, Venmo, or any other instant payment tool. I did the air quotes for people who are listening to this. And so now that could never really happen, because literally in the background, it took days for Bank A to reconcile the true transfer of funds to Bank B. And now that is truly instantaneous. It's within 30 seconds and done. The money is actually moved from Bank A to Bank B. And so this is game changing. And ultimately, the other thing that I'll put on it, we've all lived through the pandemic now. Over the last couple of years, and it took, as anybody who received stimulus checks would have known, it took weeks for you to get your check. Now, if you have a bank account, we can get that process that took 2 weeks or more during the pandemic would now take a couple of hours for everyone to get their money. And the other really, really interesting thing is that this allows is you could now get a new job, and if you banked at a bank that is fully integrated with this FedNow system, you could get paid in real time. So you could work your regular day at McDonald's and they could transfer your money for a few cents into your account that day. So think about it. Literally, people, because it's brand new, people haven't changed their business models, but you could actually get paid in near real time every day. And your company's bank could transfer money into your bank. And that conservatively will save the average American about $5 billion a year in payday loans.
So Todd, I will tell you that system has already hit out here pretty good. There's a lot of fast food places that they are advertising getting paid that same day.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm
Anybody
seeing
who gets into the, yep, you're seeing it. Sorry.
I'm seeing it more and more out here. I think, to be honest with you, I think Taco Bell was the first place I saw it. That was you get paid that day. And now the more and more places I'm going to, I'm starting to see it pop up more and more that you can receive your paycheck for that day, literally that day. So if you had a hand in that, that's awesome, man.
I did. I actually delivered the way that we monitor and make sure that system stays up and works. That was my job for the last 2.5 years. So super proud of my team and being a part of something that actually makes American lives. And actually, in that phase 2, we'll be integrating all the banks around the world so that you can actually do a transfer of cash from a bank in Zurich to a bank in Washington State or Detroit. Instantaneously. The technology will be used and broadened from here. But right now, it's all the banks in the United States. Once they are certified, they can integrate. And again, it levels the playing field. At the end of the day, if you bank at Bank of America or Chase or Bank of New York, the big banks, they've always had the ability to do same day ACH wire transfers. Usually, they charge you about $30. The beauty part of this is the Fed now is leveling the playing field, in that every bank can participate in this instead of a $25 or $30 fee for $10,000 or more. This is like 2 cents, 1 cent. So to the consumer, no more huge fees for being able to move your money around instantaneously. So, and I am not. And Jason asked a question about the taxation on things over $600. That's not what this program was focused on. So how it's taxed, I'm not sure. But really, the thing that you should take away is we have not been able to, in over 50 years, well, ever, been able to truly settle a bank transaction from bank A to bank B. So think Detroit to, you wanted to send money from your credit union in Detroit to my credit union in Washington. That's a days-long process. And if you wanted to get it done in a day using ACH, you'd pay $25 or more to transfer that. Oh, and you also had fixed limits. Fed now enables people to send tens of millions of dollars in 30 seconds in the bank. When it leaves my bank, it hits your bank in under 30 seconds.
So that's amazing. Go ahead, buddy.
It's the first new payment rail or payment method in the United States in over 50 years.
So 2 things. One, that is amazing. If you guys didn't catch that, Todd was an integral part in helping this get off the ground. And the reason it's coming to a fountainhead or coming to fruition at this point is because he received a challenge coin in the mail from the Fed saying, thank you for being a part of this. You're one of how many? Like 200 people, 250?
Under 250 people worldwide. I'm flashing it back up there. I got my first challenge coin. It is, and again, I'm such a stickler for detail. I didn't actually properly celebrate this because I was so just not unhappy, but I strive for excellence. But we've delivered something that hasn't been. It's a historic milestone, and ultimately, I've been a part of American history, and it feels really, really amazing to have done something that is going to make the lives of common Americans like me better. This technology. This is the first time the Fed has actually launched something in the cloud, by the way. So I can't give too much detail on that, but this is a cloud-based solution. So it's cutting edge. It's something new. And again, we haven't done anything like this. We didn't revamp the thing that was 50 years old. We wrote something brand new to deliver something that is going to be meaningful to every American. And what I really, really love, and the reason why I joined, was not only is it meaningful to every American, but it's meaningful to Americans who need it the most. This conservatively will save the common American living check to check potentially $5 billion or more a year. So as a person who's been in technology for almost 30 years, this was the most meaningful thing. And I've been a part of programs that have helped cancer patients in my technical career, and I'm proud of all that. But now I have a challenge coin and an actual system that's running in the wild. And if anything happens to it, I'm no longer at the Fed, so it's not my fault.
So
I think I know what you're going for, but I will say, Todd, it's 2023. So thankfully, you've finally figured out a way to instantly transfer those funds because, yes, I know for speaking for plenty of people out there, yeah, when you would try to get something or you had a check moved to your account and you wanted to put it into your savings or your checking, they're like, oh, that's going to take 2 to 3 business days. It's like, well, wait, what? Why?
Yeah, this
Why?
is money.
Someone sent me that money.
This is money. What I don't understand why this is people giving money to other people that collect money and keep money. Like what? This doesn't make any sense. Take your money that you already have. It's not physically going through the mail and showing up to my house.
If I was to hand you cash, I'm handing you cash. I'm not giving it to Bob or Todd first, and they hang on to it for 2 or 3 days and then give it to you.
I have told Bob in the past, if I loan you money, it's going to take 2 or 3 business days for it to get to your hands from mine.
Makes sense.
But two things.
On behalf, and remember, you bank at a bank, and the thing that is most important to every consumer and person who banks at a bank is when the money is there, it is really there. And so, essentially, as a safeguard, and the reason it took days is because the technology is 50 years old, and so in order to ensure that was all batch processes with all manner of checks. And again, technology has allowed us to move really, really quickly now and do all that same checking to make sure that person A has the money in their account to be able to pay person B. And then I can get that to another account in under 30 seconds. Because again, look at the end of the day, sorry, Nick, you should hit the button on me on that. But
end of the day,
it used to be every bank had their own data center, right? So I had to get my computers to talk to your computers and all that. That took time. And now, we've got through our centralized banking system, we have a methodology and a way to make this happen very quickly, to make sure that all the safeguards are in place. And in fact, even greater levels of safeguards than the old system that took days. And now it's all under 30 seconds.
In the year 3000. So we are living in the year 3000 thanks to Todd Dillon and his team that he used to work with. So, Todd, on behalf of every American, congratulations, buddy. That is quite the accomplishment. We didn't know that, honestly, until probably 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So that is really cool.
You knuckleheads. I'm like, I've been talking to you I've known you forever. You guys are like, I don't know what the fuck you do for a living. I don't know what you've been working on.
No, we don't know. We don't know. And to come around this long bend and answer Jason's question. Jason, from the PayPal website themselves, right from the horse's mouth, when do we see these changes come into effect in regards to 1099K? 1099K change takes effect January 1, 2022. PayPal and Venmo will require people to provide customers with 1099K forms if they receive $600 or more in goods or services transactions during the 2022 tax year. Now, I know that there was a hold or something that they put on this. Like they were going to roll it out in 2022, and they said it's actually going to be for the 2023 tax year, and I think that's the question he's asking. But on this website still, it says this means that you need to take into account the threshold change with your tax year of 2022 filings. But I would say a safe bet would probably be, I think there's going to be a lot of leniency, and I could just be talking completely out of my ass. But I think because of COVID and everything else that we were coming to a close on the 2022 tax year, I think it's going to be it's taking effect this year. I think it's taking effect this tax year.
That would make sense.
Because I remember asking questions about it to my my consultant, my tax consultant, when I was
your financial advisor.
Yep, to move all my millions around, and she said that's next year. She said they were going to do it this year, but it's next year. So I think the first step was to get financial institutions on board with actually the logistics of providing 1099Ks for people that are just on an everyday basis shooting money back and forth. And I think whether it was the end of COVID or just the logistics of trying to get it all together, I think they gave like a grace period, and I think it actually is enacted this upcoming year. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I would research it.
Do the research. And again, one common misnomer: the Federal Reserve Bank the Federal Reserve Bank are 12 banks in the U.S. They are not government agencies. They are independent organizations. While they take their direction from the government, and Jerome Powell works in the government, all the Federal Reserves banks are independent of each other, and they are not government agencies, even though on the inside they feel and behave just like them, but they are not government agencies.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, hang on.
Oh,
Before, because last thing I want
it's
to touch
always
on.
great when we do hang-ons.
Last thing I want to touch on.
Wait.
Never mind.
Todd,
No, I wasn't ready for that yet. Hang on.
Todd brought up the challenge coin thing, and I happen to have a nice little collection of challenge coins myself.
Oh, great.
But Todd, the one I'm going to put up against yours, buddy, I inherited it from my father. It's a Secret Service challenge coin, and it was given to him by Timothy McCarthy. I don't know if you know that name or not.
I do.
He was one of the Secret Service agents that was next to the limo protecting Ronald Reagan the day of his assassination attempt. And my dad met him personally in Washington, D.C., and Tim gave him a Secret Service challenge coin.
That's awesome.
One of a kind, and that's probably my top one from my challenge coin collection. So I'm glad you got one in your belt, and now we're gonna have to start.
I got one, baby.
Now we're gonna have to start looking into these a little bit more, and we can get into a challenge coin collection war.
I'll tell you what, the blood, sweat, and working at a government like agency, I think I'm going back to tech, baby. The wheels of banks turn like frickin' stone. I am amazed. This got done faster than anybody predicted. We delivered ahead of schedule. And again, I'm a perfectionist, so I have a lot of things I would like to have seen. But again, it's an amazing milestone. And again, I was even, again, I'm such a stickler. I didn't take the time to enjoy it. And thank you guys for letting me talk about it on this show, because I'm really, really proud of it.
Oh, as you should be, man. As you should be.
Todd, and I'm glad you came back around that corner and just reaffirmed we were talking about in the Whose Challenge Coin is Bigger contest, because I certainly appreciate that, because as of right now, it's yours. Under different circumstances, it's going to be Cory's, but right now it's yours. And with that being said, we're going to go to gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's agreement. Oh, it's the motherfucking gentlemen's agreement. All right, gentlemen's agreement. So I did not watch my gentlemen's agreement. I've had a very busy week. No excuses, but sometimes there are. So I was given a pass. We had a long conversation a couple months back. I just told the guys, I don't do movies as much as you guys do movies. It's not that I'm a super busy person. I just don't have the time. It's just not my wheelhouse as much as it's your guys. I love it. I do it as much as I can, and I think there was a vote. You get every 2 weeks, you get a pass. So I'm taking advantage of that, but sometimes it gets a little foggy in people's heads, and I just want to remind everybody that this is the agreement that we had. So
exactly. It's a gentleman's agreement.
The agreement that we had. So from what I'm seeing here,
The agreement to the gentleman's agreement.
exactly, there was stipulations. So what I'm seeing here is that on the last input on these set of notes, which could be completely wrong, it's telling me from 8/12. Is that true, Cory? Monty Python's Life of Brian?
Yeah.
That's old.
That was last
Cory
week.
didn't get his done last time. That's so.
No,
yeah,
and then I was out for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, well then I think there's a lot of people waiting with bated breath, and I think you should go first on this one.
Well, keep holding your breath.
Who gave it to you?
Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the Monty Python's Life of Brian. To sum it up real quick, it's your typical Monty Python. For those that are familiar, it's almost like watching the Holy Grail just turned into a big parody of the times of Jesus, or any movie that was based in the time of Jesus. It's funny. it doesn't age that well.
Get me a bucket. I gotta throw up.
I love movies. I love movies that don't age well.
Yeah, it's. Like I said, it is funny.
You had to laugh at the bucket, right?
No, dude. There was a ton of one-liners in there that were hilarious. But the idea itself is not timeless. They found a niche where that kind of movie was very funny. And again, to certain people, it's still going to be very funny. But
old people.
I mean, yeah, for the most part,
dude. Bob's gonna have to listen to this when he has.
I know
exactly. Bob's gonna love this. Bob's old. He's gonna. That's why I assigned it to you. He's an old dude.
Dude, he's going to be suckling on one of his butterscotch candies, and he's going to be so angry.
Werther's.
When he hears
and melted Werther's in his pocket.
Hey, listen, not one of those fancy like raspberry Werther's or like creamsicle Werther's.
No, just straight
this
caramel.
It's going to be straight up. You've got to be 70 plus to enjoy these Werther's.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking.
Oh yeah,
about.
one of those red and white little mint candies.
Like one of those. Like a dusty handful of those chalk candies they give you at old restaurants with the little spoon in them.
A little spoon in them.
And they put a little spoon in the crystal dish.
You spoon it out.
Yeah,
you spoon it out. That way people don't stick
Little
their
pieces
fingers
of-
in there.
Little pieces of mint-flavored chalk.
Yes.
Don't those sound good with a little pocket lint on them?
Those are pretty good.
Stop, Cory. Cory's like, a handful of those sound delicious right now, followed up with a cinnamon-flavored toothpick.
Exactly.
I'd be
And
more
pocket lint. I think the pocket lint is an accent as well.
Andy's mints and
Got to get something in your teeth.
and cinnamon-flavored toothpicks from DeLuca's back in the day. But so yeah. Anyways, I digress. It's a good movie. It's again, you would have to know Monty Python and have some background on them prior to watching it. I would not go into it cold and not know anything about their past movies or, the people in them. So,
yeah, it's slapstick British comedy, and if you don't like that, if you don't like Benny Hill, you're not gonna like it. If you haven't seen other Monty Pythons, I think you're not gonna like it.
Exactly.
If you like Monty Python, it's a classic Monty Python.
Oh yeah, if you're a fan of Monty Python,
one wafer thin mint,
then
fuck
you're
off, I'm full.
You're more than good. But if you don't know anything about them, it's definitely not the movie for you. So, listen. Go ahead. Are you quoting more lines?
I see Nick in the camera. I'm like, he's pouring more shots. I'm like,
but yeah, no, solid pick. But again, it's for a certain crowd. It's not for everyone. So,
I like it.
That's my review for The Life of Brian by Monty Python.
All right. So is that something you would recommend to a friend?
It's certain friends, yes. Not dude.
Not a good friend.
No, for you, it would be completely lost on you because you've never seen The Holy Grail or any other movies.
Thank you.
It would definitely be lost. Yeah, it'd be lost on you.
He would hate
time.
it.
Thank you, Cory Selesky, for not.
It wouldn't stand up.
Okay, Todd, you had Bronson.
I did.
Who assigned you Bronson?
I'm hoping it wasn't Cory.
It was not.
So it must have been Bob.
It
wasn't me. So, Bob's knocking it out of the park this week.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
Before we do that, we have a shot sitting in front of us. If you don't know or you have been living under a rock somewhere, you don't listen to the Schnozzcast, that's okay. I made bad decisions when I was growing up as well. We are a drinking podcast. If you want to partake, pause the show, grab something to do a shot with us. If you're at work, you're cutting the grass, you got some lemonade, that's fine too. Pause us. And we're back.
Even if you're at work, grab that bottle out of the car.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. That 98-degree bottle of whatever. Yeah.
Take a hit.
Cheers.
Salute. Yeah, boy.
I feel
And
like
hopefully it's not that. Hopefully nobody grabbed Dr. McGillicuddy's because that is
you
some trash.
love Dr. McGillicuddy.
God damn you not liking that.
Listen, man.
Disgusting.
Listen,
Disgusting.
I paved the roads and banks of the Asavo River with glorious, glorious flowing apple fucking crown. You have nothing to say about our Dr. McGillicuddy's.
Oh my goodness. That's horrible shit.
I know it might be white people shit. But that's
it's
okay.
Just horrible.
That's okay.
It's just horrible.
It was delicious. Which,
Delicious,
by the way, we will be making some more apple pie moonshine very soon. Also, Cory, I wanted to bring this up after the gentleman's agreement. So just remind me, I have something that I want to bring up. Todd, go ahead with Bronson.
Bronson. So assigned by Bob. And I'm feeling really, really bad that Bob is not here to hear this grade personally, especially since I've been doling out such good grades overall. This show, Bronson, in my humble opinion, gets a solid F, maybe even an F minus. Horrible. I wouldn't assign it to a friend. I wouldn't assign it to anyone ever.
Was this about Charles Bronson?
If only.
If only.
Bronson is a movie about England's most violent, and I'm going to do my air quotes, most violent criminal. The stat that I pulled from it is he's been in jail for the last 35 years, based on a true story. But this is a movie, so it's a little bit. Again, they did a lot of dramatization and threw some stuff in there but he's been in jail since he's a teenager for the last 34 years, and he spent 30 of them in solitary confinement. Here's the thing. I don't think that the guy is mentally ill. He's just an asshole. And he's an asshole who is okay with pain, and he wants to inflict pain. The weird thing is, too, the other thing is he's been in jail for 30 years or 34 years, in solitary for 30 of them, and he's never killed anyone. Because what he does is he just wants to punch people, and then they fight him, and he went to jail. And then every time the guards would come by to feed him or whatever, he'd coax him into his cell and he'd beat him up, and he'd get pummeled and tossed in the hole. And so I think he's a bit of a pain addict. At one segment in the movie, he gets out of jail for, I think, 69 days. Kind of almost falls in love. And the thing that's kind of lost on me is before he went to jail, he actually he hooked up with a woman. I don't know if they were married or not, but had a baby. That never ever enters the program again. So his kid would be like in its 20s that he did nothing with. He hooked up with another chick, but he robbed someone to get the ring and was arrested like 15 minutes later. And then he goes to jail and fights the guards. And the only thing in this show that if you like gratuitous male nudity, that's it. He basically he steals bacon fat or fat from the cafeteria, and then oils himself down and then fights guards naked. F minus. Worst movie I've ever seen. Wouldn't recommend it to even a person who didn't like very much.
All right, it's called Bronson. Let me write this down.
Exactly. It's called horrible.
Yeah.
I wish Bob was here to hear it.
Naked men and bacon fat. I don't know how this sounds so bad, but
dude,
all right.
There's one.
I guess so.
I don't want no spoilers, but there's a portion of the thing where you know in prisons they have the librarian, and he comes by and drops off books from the library at people's cells.
Yeah, I mean in the movies that I've seen, yes.
Yeah. So
from my experience of being locked up, that doesn't happen. But
yeah.
In this, well, here's the thing too.
Puts a file.
The thing I couldn't get away from. Well, no, the librarian comes by and he's like, "Oh, I've got these 6 titles to choose from." And he walks into his cell, and then he locks the door behind him and then screams out, "Hey, I've got the librarian captured in here. It's on. Tell the warden to call me because I got some demands." And so he kind of holds the guy hostage, and the warden, they send a phone down. He dials up and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "What do I want?" He's like, "What's on the menu?" And then he's fucking about with the warden. And the warden's like, "Well, it really depends on you. You tell me what you want, and we'll see what we can work out." Because they're thinking, of course, you're already in jail, mofo. We're going to tell you we're going to give you whatever you want. Then we're going to fricking beat the shit out of you. And of course, That's what happens. But he kind of knows it's going to happen, so he then strips naked. I saw more dick in this movie than I've ever seen in another movie in my life. He strips naked and then has this dude rub bacon fat all over him, and then bitches at him because like, get it all over. I want it on my butt. Hey, don't touch my butt, you fag. And he's like, I'm like, you're tossing homophobic slurs around, and you ask dude to rub bacon fat on your ass. Make up your mind. And here's the funnier bit. The one interesting turn in this movie was he was being such a dickhead. You know what they did? They moved him into an insane asylum.
That's me. Sorry.
With the loonies, as the Brits would call them. And they medicated the fuck out of him. And they medicated the fuck out of him, and he's like miserable. I'm meant to be a star. And I'm like, dude, in the US prison system, he'd have been dead like, he's been in jail 34 years. He'd have been dead 32 years ago. Because all he does is wait for the guards to come, and then he just fights them, and he gets thrown in solitary. It's the most pointless bit, and he's not lashing out because he feels he's been wrong. He came from a normal family. He just wants to get in fights, which, again, as a pugilist myself, I can get behind wanting to pound people who don't behave right, but he just wants to punch people for no reason, and then he goes to jail, and then doesn't actually fight or try and have like a clique in jail that actually does something. He just wants to fight the guards. They pummel him. They throw him in solitary, and it's a almost 2-hour-long movie about this dumbass getting freaking fighting guards and getting thrown to. And the only real interesting thing was he got kicked out of the second insane asylum he was in because he burned it down.
Todd, we're almost getting into a 2-hour explanation of the movie as well. So
horrible.
F
minus.
I'll take your grade as an F minus. Bob, fuck yourself.
Yeah, I would say, Bob, you fucking suck at picking movies. That's all I just heard.
So yeah, don't go see that movie unless you want to see bacon fat and Willie's.
Bronson,
if you want, exactly. If you actually, let me give you a reason to watch it.
Hold on. Like, we're on the downslide here. We don't need to go back into Act 3.
No. Yeah.
We don't need to go.
We get the idea, Todd. We get the idea.
we get more than the idea. I know the lines.
Looking at wieners.
I know the lines from the movie now.
Todd, you know what I like better? Boobs.
There were man boobs. Greased up, bacon fatted man boobs in that fucking movie.
That's
no, you're done. No, you're done. I don't want a phone call after the show. Yeah, I talked way too much about this show. All right, so you would not assign that. All right, so we're going to do new assignments. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say Todd has Cory, Cory has Todd.
Wow. How'd you come up with that?
Well, it's an algorithm I have.
You say you crunched the numbers that quick?
I did.
That's impressive, buddy. Bob normally has to like put in the computer and all that. You did it just off the top of your head.
Who is this man from Nazareth? Some may say.
You're going to have to take this over.
His name is Nick.
Yeah.
What?
Kate said cheers to boobs.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you want to see gratuitous wiener.
Yep. We know where to find it. F minus.
Exactly.
So
should talk more about boobs, Todd.
If you guys need some time, we can move on to something else, and we can think about that. Or if you guys know what you want to assign each other right now, then we can do that right now. And we don't want him and Han. Maybe. And
I got Todd.
All right, go ahead.
Todd.
Tell me.
McGregor Forever.
McGregor Forever. I have not seen that.
There you go, sir.
All right. So, and I'm actually going to double dip again, Cory. I'm going to assign you Harriet too.
Oh Jesus! All right.
I'm telling you, it's a good movie. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. I would not. You know me. I always stretch and I assign movies that I think that people will like.
Fair enough.
That they wouldn't ordinarily watch.
I'm always open to a good new movie that I would never watch myself. So.
There you go.
You say, I'm sorry,
easy peasy.
Harriet J?
Just Harriet.
Just Harriet.
Just
okay.
Harriet.
Tubman.
It's the movie is called Harriet.
All right, gotcha.
How is it spelled?
It's a new movie.
I think I got that.
Harriet. Harriet.
All
Very
right.
good movie.
Harriet it is, and McGregor Forever sounds good. All right. So what I want to
Love
do,
it.
we are not, and I don't want this to take us through the rest of the show. I really don't, because we have two other things we need to cover. We do have some time, but what I want to ask is two things. One, Cory, this doesn't even require a response. This is almost rhetorical. Have you put any thought into potentially something in regards to the podcast for Halloween Day?
Not too much, but it is kind of a simple answer because we could easily live stream, no problem. From
we could live stream. You could start off slow. You could do time lapse, something, but just to plant that seed. Number two, this is directed to Mr. Todd Dillon.
Yes, sir.
So this is not to be political, but
yes, sir.
There's a lot of shit going on right now. What are your thoughts on things going on with the UAW?
Oh, lots of thoughts. That's what
we want to know. Like, is as lighthearted and not step on your toes, and I will take the same medicine, and Cory will as well. Like, what are your? Everyone wants to know. I think a lot of people want to know because it's a hot topic right now. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are it's a complicated thing. I, at my core, am absolutely for unionization so that people that do specific things get fair treatment, fair wages, fair benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am 1000% behind that. I think that as a notion of why people should unionize is perfect. I think that unionization and capitalism are kind of at odds with each other. And it makes for what we have now, a tenuous situation where you jump on one side or another. Because the one thing, in fact, and I'm glad, what an interesting thing. When I think about this, I imagine that, and again, not being a political podcast, but if you were a certain ilk, if you look at what the UAW is demanding, you'd have to call them Marxists. But
right,
because it's the people rising up against the power, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those people many of those people actually vote for the side that calls the other people who believe the other way is the Marxists. So it's an interesting dichotomy because capitalism is very, very complicated. In the end of the day, and I'm sorry for saying that. We need the buzzers to stop me on that because now I catch it. And I don't have a new phrase.
I think this is number 3.
But yeah, I know. But really, here's the great dilemma. How much is too much?
Exactly.
And when I listen to the people striking and they say this isn't a strike against America, this is a lash out against the billionaires. The problem is if you feel that you should be able to earn whatever you can earn in this society and supply and demand, then you can't hate on billionaires for being billionaires. But that means billionaires don't get to be billionaires by paying people fairly. At the end of the day, one of the greatest quotes I've ever seen in anything I've seen recently is, we pay NBA basketball players hundreds of millions of dollars, yet the sneakers that they wear are made in sweatshops by people who make 13 cents an hour. And then we're appalled by it. But at the end of the day, if you are a wrench turner at GM and you want a 21% raise, and not for nothing, I'm a technologist. I work in technology. We make pretty decent livings. I can't recall a time in my life where I got a 21% raise.
Just so you're aware, Todd, the stipulations are 40%. 40% is what they're requesting. It's like 40 or 44.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Again, so
like double that. It's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
yeah.
Think about that. I mean, ultimately, and not for nothing, and this is what, as a technologist, and this is where, thank you for giving this to me. I am no longer at the Fed, and the thing that I am passionate about that I'm going to jump on next. I'm jumping on the artificial intelligence bandwagon. I want to skate to where the puck's going, not to where this puck is at. I don't know if people realize it, but 25% of jobs potentially that people do today are going to be eliminated by artificial intelligence and robots. And it's actually kind of a good thing because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that number 4, I know.
No,
we want to preserve human life, and we want to.
You're on number 6 now.
There you go. We want humans to be safe. We want to preserve life, right? So that means if we could make robots to mine coal, and if you're on board with fossil fuels and people who drive in rivets and girders 80 stories up, but you want to you're pro-life, you would say, well, geez, let's not put humans in harm's way. Let's make robots to do that, and that means though guess what? If you're a dude holding up the sign, slow or stop, and if you're a construction worker, that is lower paying than the dude who's on the 80-story girder doing those rivets. But we're making robots and artificial intelligence to keep humans safe. That means a high-paying job that has high risk is going away.
Yep.
AI, I think, is a good thing, but we and this is going to sound very anti-American. And if anybody who knows me knows that this is not the way. I am not anti-American. I am pro-American. But we, the people, need to wake up, unite, and get smarter about what we do and educate ourselves, because we literally, people don't go to malls anymore, right? Why? Because you don't want to get shot. You don't want to freaking deal with lines. You don't want to park 8 fucking miles away. So you shop online. Guess what that means? Jobs are lost. And it turns out nobody needs to go to a store to actually buy anything. Amazon has proven that Amazon Go, and I was at the Beyonce concert. There were stores at Lumen Field where you could go and buy your beers, and all you need to do is put your credit card in it, and it kept the camera on you. Whatever you took out of the booth, it charged you for, and it gets it right every time. So guess what? No people in there making a living doing that. If you are not doing something that is kind of time proof, and if you haven't worked at a job like an auto worker, a policeman, where if you work for so many years, you get a pension. Because here's the thing, we in our society forget about these things. If I'm a police officer, and this is not a knock at all. If I'm a police officer for 25 years, I can retire with my full pension, right?
Correct.
And that means taxpayers
at one point in time, yes.
So that means taxpayers then fund you for forever, right? And that means that those monies are going to fund people who are not doing the job. And if I start when I'm 22, I'm retired when I'm 47, I'm going to live in this country till I'm 80, and the taxpayers are going to pay that. The thing that's bugging me, and the thing, I'm glad you gave this to me. We as Americans need to get off our asses and get along and unite and cooperate and be more cooperative, because the challenges of today is artificial intelligence is going to garner 25% of what we do today. It will the good news is I think it's going to create 30% of jobs that don't exist yet. But if you think that you can do the same shit you're doing today 5 years from now and still make a living and be able to have a wife and a couple of kids and a house and a car, because guess what? If UAW workers are going to get a 40% raise 5 years from now, that Jeep Wrangler that costs $50,000 today is going to cost you $75,000 5 years from now.
Oh, well, I mean, that's already kind of true in today's day and age. I mean, prices have gone up on things due to exactly that. I mean, to bring it down to the dumbest level, even look at our fast food chains. It's not necessarily AI that's taking over yet in like the kitchen area and all that, but AI in a sense is taking over even when you just go into a place to order. I remember you used to walk into a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, whatever it might be, and there was 4 people there at the counter to greet you, and a menu behind them that you saw that you ordered off of, and you gave them your order, they put it in, and then everything went from there. You walk into any of those places today, there's literally nothing at the front counter. Not a single thing. There's 2 kiosks, and you order on those kiosks, and the order gets sent back to the people working in the kitchen, and they're supposed to take care of it in a timely manner. The problem I'm seeing with it, though, is this is taking a step back as far as when things used to be actually taken care of and fast, and you had that personal interaction with someone, even though it didn't matter, it still made everything, from what I can see, more efficient, because now you go and order on those screens, and it takes forever to get any sort of order or anything done.
Well, because I think what's happening is that you're buying time.
There's that disconnect.
In one aspect, you're making things quicker. But because things are quicker, you still have humans in the back that are not as quick as machines. And so
I think there's a different thing at play.
You could have 15 people place orders within 5 minutes, whereas normally it might have taken 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I've noticed more and more, and I don't know if this ties in, but at fast food restaurants, please pull up to the side. We'll walk your food out to you in 10, 15 minutes. Please pull up to the side. Almost every fast food place I go to now, they're telling me to please pull up to the side. Someone will walk the food out to me, which is telling me that they can't
keep up with
because of mobile orders and things like that. They can't. The humans can't keep up with the technology.
Well, you're 100% right, but the reason behind it is a little bit different. Every one of those restaurants, next time I challenge you, go to a fast food restaurant tomorrow. I guarantee you, there's a sign that says we're hiring. For whatever reason, people have made enough money, so maybe people getting 40% raises this year, they don't have their kids working there anymore, or people who've worked as firefighters. And again, I'm not knocking these professions or the pension
No, not at all. Not at all.
But there are, for whatever reason, post-pandemic, there are fewer people in the workforce. So every one of these places has fewer people working. And so you're right. These technological advances that would make it normally quicker are making it a little bit slower right now, because guess what? They're short on the people who they do need to actually build the sandwich. And the scary bit is building those sandwiches at McDonald's. That's not 20 years away from a robot being able to do it very effectively. I hate to say it, especially being that when I know that humans assemble my fillet of fish and they fucking squirt half the fucking tartar sauce into the box instead of on the sandwich by them, like manually, it feels like a freaking automated system would be even better.
Todd, I and sadly, I more than agree with you, because I've had several situations where you go into a place where, yes, everything is supposed to be taken by technology and supposed to be a seamless system. And yes, ordering is a seamless system. But when it comes to the people making stuff, I ordered, it was like a taco supreme, and there was just a huge fat turd of sour cream on one end.
Exactly.
And then barely anything else in the taco. I'm like, how did you not get this right? It's just like you've been making them.
But think about that. That's because the humans that do it care so little about the quality that they give to you.
Oh,
dude, they do. And by the way, and they make $19.
Exactly.
Because not for nothing. Here's the one thing. There's a bit about technology, and I'm very intrigued by it. In fact, I recently tried to get a job at a company who does this because I'm so intrigued by it. But it's going to be disruptive. Do you know that there's again, it's not affordable for everyone right now, but as we know, all things come down in price. We as a country are like, hey, we want to make sure our immigration policies are set, but we know that we have migrant workers who farm. Did you know that there are plows that go out and they can actually, there are computer programs that can recognize weeds and tell the difference between a weed and a watermelon plant. And they can shoot lasers into the dirt to kill the weeds, which means that all those jobs that actually humans did that paid money are going away because of technology.
Okay.
So again, go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
No, my thought is, so if these jobs are shrinking, what is it the rest of society? If you're not in technology, if you're not in these businesses, is your job that you need? I think if I could talk to everybody in the world and say, is your job replaceable by a robot or a computer?
I think you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right. The couple things we need to look at, because we do have to move on. We were on the UAW strike, and we're now shooting lasers at weeds, which I understand. I understand how we got there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if you look at any history of the United States and you look at what jobs used to be, it's almost comical. And the few things that come to mind for me, that technology will be replacing, and it's a constant that's going to happen constantly. You need to think about this. Now, is it going to be in your near future? Is it going to be in the next 10 years, 30 years? I don't know. But the two things that come to mind is, one, there was a man that used to, or a woman, that used to go around, probably a man though, that used to go around with a giant pole and light street lamps. That was his job. He would walk around with a giant pole and it had a flame on the end of it, and he would light street lamps. And, of course, that job went away because of incandescent lights, the Thomas Edison light bulb, and electricity. There was also a person called a window tapper. Also, these were a lot of jobs with long poles, apparently. The window tapper, it was before alarm clocks. He would go around. So we had advancements. We thought of things. We thought of, well, you could light a candle, and based on the length of the candle, you could put nails into it. And the candle had a candle holder, which was made of metal. And we would do the timing and the math of the candle, and based on the time frame, we would say, okay, this candle burns at so many minutes per hour, or however long it takes it to get down. And so you would put strategic nails down on this candle. And as the candle burned, the nails would release, the iron nails would release, and they'd fall into the metal holder, and they'd make a ting, and that would wake people up. Like, those were things people thought of. So, but this job was a window tapper. So for people that had a little bit more money, you would have someone come around and you tap on your window at 7 o'clock in the morning to wake you up for work. It seems like a very antiquated notion, but it puts things into perspective that we're going to be looking at a lot of the jobs that we have today as we're looking at this. Like, well, that's just fucking ridiculous. A guy with a pole tapping on your fucking window to wake you up, but that's where we're going.
But
so
Nick, can I give me a couple more seconds just to make a more fine grain point?
Yeah, no, mine wasn't great.
Do you know and back to the UAW and specifically, and this is why, again, I'm neither here nor there. I never ever challenge what people can ask for or to make. But here's what's lost in the whole equation: the workers of today, there are the same jobs that exist today in an automobile plant that existed 10 years ago. We can agree on that, correct?
Sure, yeah.
And technology, even though those jobs aren't replaced today, technologies have made those jobs either safer or quicker or both.
Or easier.
Because or easier, right. But get this, 10 years ago, a UAW worker on the line there was a job, the guy who put the freaking last piece on the door frame, it might have been dangerous, and they probably had 1% a year of people who lost their arms because their arm got caught between the door going on and the machine that jammed it in there, and they lost their arm, right?
Right.
We've solved for that now. So the job is not only safer, it's faster and all those other things. And but that job still exists. And the guy who does that job today is going, I don't make enough money. I don't make enough money to have a wife, 2 kids, a car, a boat, and a snowmobile. So I want a 40% raise. But the job that they do is still the same job that exists, hasn't been replaced by a robot. But the guy today, because of the cost of living, wants to make 40% more than his counterpart who did the exact same job 10 years ago. And then we're bitching about the billionaires who make the money. There's, at the end of the day, everybody who votes for a party of billionaires has to realize you're fucking part of the problem. You're not going to get paid more because people are going to make more. And like I said, that's what we don't factor that in. We're like, we think our time is more valuable today, but the job is actually easier. We have more safeguards. It's safer to do any job at any automotive plant today than it was 20 years ago, but you want a 40% raise. That's, again, not hating on it. Ask for what you can, get what you can. But when you ask me about the UAW strike, it's we the workers, and I count myself in as the workers because I didn't invent a new thing to do a thing. We the workers, if you aren't thinking about how valuable really you are, not what you want.
This is not 1 minute,
then
Todd.
you are. Sorry, I'll leave it at that. Just
wrap it
ponder
up.
that thing. That's it. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to call me, hit me on my Instagram, hit me on TikTok, hit me up anywhere. I'm happy to debate it. I don't have the answer, but we have to, no matter what. I think the message, and I know I'm going over my time. We the people are we the people, not we one side or the other side. And we need to get our heads wrapped around that because we're losing the fucking point.
100%. And I think, unfortunately, the thing that we're striving for is going to be our demise, because the higher and
that's
higher
that's why I'm rooting for AI.
The higher and higher we request things like, and I understand the 40% increase is like you're going to buy a car. I'll give you $100 for that car. Well, the car's $27,000. Where can you meet me? Well, okay, and there's going to be some haggling involved. I get it. No one expects a 40% increase. It's ridiculous. But they think probably, end all be all, that, you know, we're going to figure out that maybe it's going to be a 15% increase, and it's still better than what they had. I understand that logic. But the problem is that the companies are now saying, we can't afford this. You know, at a certain point, we can't afford this.
Because billionaires are going to be billionaires.
So you're justifying, whereas in the past, we could not justify a price hike in bringing in certain technologies that would replace you. But when you get to a certain threshold, then that's going to be justified. Because now I don't have to pay health insurance to a robot. I don't have to pay health insurance to AI. And so you're pushing the envelope. So it's a catch-22. I'm not against or for.
It's actually not catch-22. It's just one other thing. Quickly, Nick. Here's the thing. Why do you think that we ship all the things off to China? Because China, being an authoritarian government, can pay motherfuckers 14 cents an hour and nobody can do a thing about it. That's why business is offshore, because their human rights in other countries, even though we, the U.S., say, hey, we want human rights for everybody, we go to China, we go to India, we go to those other countries, because guess what? If you're an authoritarian government, you can tell people, hey, I'll take care of your health insurance. I'll take care of making sure you get a meal at the market, and you're going to make 13 cents an hour making fucking Nike tennis shoes and automotive parts.
All right,
that
Todd,
is the difference. But
Todd,
in the US,
you've had 13 minutes and 7 end of the days. That's enough.
Thank you.
That is enough.
I'm winning.
I'm actually saving you from yourself, because you're going to call me after this show and you're going to be like, man, why did you guys let me talk that much? I'm like, what the fuck? All right.
You got to be dropping science, though, bro.
Guys, while we're listening to this great music of TT's TikToks, we have a shot sitting in front of us. If you have one, please do one with us. TD, grab a shot.
Working on it. TT's TikToks.
Cheers.
He said he's working on it.
He's got it.
I got it. I'm ready. Salute. Nostrovia.
Oh, by the way, Todd was wrong. It was a catch-22. Cory, go ahead.
Oh, shit. All right. So this first one I'm going to bring to you guys, this is just a dude trying to look cool. And
what is wrong with his body? He looks like very strange.
I don't know. He's just fucking ripped. There's nothing you can do about that.
I don't think he's ripped. He looks very strange. He has a very strange shape to his body.
Well,
maybe it's just the pause. Maybe it's the angle.
You're about to see that strange shape fuck himself up.
Okay. I'm telling you. Yeah, he looked like he was wearing an invisible corset. His body looked fucking strange.
So he goes to do a backflip off this little diving board on what I can only assume is attached to a boat or a rocky cliff of some sort. But he ends up to a boat, yeah. So, oh, dude,
oh my, dude, I hope
face
people,
right on that platform.
Dude, I hope people jumped in after him after that.
Oh, he was definitely out.
That's what I'm saying. He was knocked the fuck out.
He was totally out after that.
What a fucking dumbass.
Oh, gotta show off to the ladies and everything around. So,
as a person who's done some dumbass shit, I can relate. Trying to impress the ladies.
Exactly. So, here we go. Keeping on that same subject, this person also fucks their face up big time.
Oh.
So this person's going down a very janky slide of some sort.
It almost looked like the Belle Isle big slide.
In a smaller version of it.
It's not transferring well on the video either side because you can't really see what happens.
Oh, sorry, man.
It looked like the giant slide.
Yeah, it looks like the giant slide of Belle Isle, and they're airborne right over that little bump, and they start coming down, and just face first right into that plastic slide and bounce right off of it.
Was this like in a mall or something? I mean, like
it looks like it is.
It looks like it was erected very quickly.
But then, so following that, there's this guy that has clearly just had a stroke of some sort.
No, that was the guy that was on the slide.
You're right. Okay. So the next one I got for you guys, all right, to get off the idea of people doing stupid things and not being able to execute them. The song's still playing.
I know.
Okay.
All the editorializing.
All right, so these guys are on a rope swing out in the middle of the woods, and they decide to perform this trick.
Yeah.
And it actually turns out pretty well. So here you go.
What they did right?
They believed in themselves.
That's correct. Look at this man in a full Tarzan swing, eyes on the prize as his buddy lobs an open can that should spill everywhere out, but he goes for the catch, swinging his ankles to reach backwards into his hand, launching it back for a full chug while he walks on the river like he's Jesus. I mean, have you seen a better highlight in all video history? Right?
So these guys are on a rope swing, and they, as the guy's doing, he's doing it one-handed. He's out on the rope swing. His buddy's on the shore, tossing him a beer that's open.
Do you know how hard that would be to hang from a rope swing with one hand?
Going around that far?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he catches the beer. And the narrator is correct. Not a single drop of beer is spilled out of that can. And the guy on the rope swing caught it and then drank it as he's coming back into land.
Amazing.
That dude's my hero. Hey, can you pull his name out of there? I'm going to friend him on Facebook right now.
Yes, I will.
That dude's my hero.
That
dude's my hero.
That was a pretty solid feat of physical fitness right there.
Can I share my back to the where humans hurting themselves dumbassery?
Of course.
Quickly? I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
Well, I say of course.
You say quickly. You've said it a lot of times on this show.
I know, and I lied. But this time will be the truth, Nick.
Okay.
Back in the day. When I was dating man.
No story starting with back in the day ever ended quickly.
Saddle up, everyone.
My best friend and I, he had a hot tub that was built into their deck, and we were in Bay City, Michigan, and there over the week before, it had snowed, and there's probably like 3.5 feet of like snow that had accumulated on the ground off the deck, and so the snow level was equal to the level of the deck, and we had a couple of lady friends over, and we were hot tubbing, and so I'm like, oh, it's time to cool off, and so I thought it'd be a great idea to do a full swan dive, like, and jump up, and I was an athlete when I was younger, so I jumped probably 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, and then bent my body so that my face was directed right to the earth, thinking that I was going to fall into this 3.5 feet of puffy snow and kind of cool off after being in this 120 degrees hot tub. Dude, there's like freaking a centimeter of fresh snow, and the rest was all ice.
Oh, that hurt.
And I fucking, dude, and if there had been a video of it, I was perfectly in the air. And I remember, like, I lined up the snow. I'm like, I'm off the deck. I'm way in the air. I'm good to go. We're all, dude, I hit, and then my body, like my face, like planted, and then my feet actually hit the edge of the deck. I broke a toe. freaking my face was all cut up, and freaking my whole body was mashed on this freaking sheet of ice, and I had to limp my way back in the tub. I did not get lucky that night. Trying to impress the girls. It was
You're fucking lucky that that's all that happened to you.
I am lucky.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, you could have shattered a vertebrae, fucking really fucked your face up.
Broken my neck. I could have broken my neck. I could have broken my leg. I could have broken like everything nothing happened except for the greatest embarrassment of my entire life. And
thank God, but
all right, guys. Well, that is episode number 2 of the Schnozzcast. Maybe episode number 1, depending on how you're listening to us. If you didn't catch us live, make sure you always check us out on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Check us out on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get to see the live shows that no one else gets to see. We delete them immediately and send them out to you. For the Schnozzcast, I am Nick. For Bob, Cory, and Todd, be good to yourself. And that's it. No one else. Just yourself. Have a good weekend.